Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania is like the 35th or 40th movie set within the MCU. It is the third Ant-Man movie that we've gotten, which, wow, 3 Ant-Man movies. Somehow we live in a world with 3 Ant-Man movies, but we only have like one modern day Superman movie. He didn't get his trilogy. I don't know. It's just something weird about that. This is a film that brings back a lot of the characters and actors that you've seen appear in other Marvel movies. Paul Rudd is back reprising his role as Ant-Man. Evangeline Lilly is reprising her role as Hope, his love interest, aka the Wasp. You got Michael Douglas as Hank Pym. You got Michelle Pfeiffer as Janet Pym. Catherine Newton, who is playing Scott's daughter in this movie, but it's not the same daughter that he had in Endgame. That's a long story that could take another video. And of course, we have Jonathan Majors, who is playing the big bad of the multiverse saga, Kang the Conqueror, and this is technically his introduction. There are some members of the Ant family who are messing around with some quantum stuff because they're trying to research the quantum realm. One thing leads to another. They all somehow get sucked down into the quantum realm, and now they're stuck in a universe that's within a universe that is like below ours or something. And now they are exploring this universe, and Kang wants them for reasons, and so yeah, you got a big battle with Kang and a bunch of other stuff happening. I will level with you, I like Paul Rudd. I'm not a huge Ant-Man fan. I thought the other 2 movies were tolerable. I think the first Ant-Man's probably the best one. Second one, I'll be honest, I remember so little about the second Ant-Man movie that I'm starting to have doubts whether it actually exists, whether it was actually a real movie. It's just the most forgettable MCU movie I think I've ever seen in my life. But there is one thing that I wanted to see coming into this movie, and that is Kang. And I wanted Kang to whoop Scott's ass. Like, that was a goal of mine coming into this movie. If you think about all of the other major heroes that have had their own franchises set up within the MCU, why is it that Scott is the one that hasn't had his ass whooped yet? Like, have you actually thought about that? Captain America's had his ass whooped. Iron Man has gotten his ass whooped. Thor has gotten his ass whooped. A lot of the other heroes, Doctor Strange has gotten his ass whooped. Like, there's so many heroes and characters in the MCU that have taken a beating, and Scott is just kind of walking around and he's happy and everybody likes him, and Paul Rudd never ages, and he's never gotten his shit kicked in. Well, I got what I wanted. His shit got kicked in, pushed in, kind of Missy Elliott in a way. Kang put his shit down, flipped it, and reversed it. It was really bad, but also really good shit. And I guess that's kind of the main thing I can praise about this movie is Jonathan Majors as Kang. I don't care if you like the movie. I don't care if you don't like the movie. Most reviews are going to come away saying the same thing, that Jonathan Majors carried this entire movie on his shoulders, his spinal column, pretty much everything from the neck down. Like, he owns this entire movie. Jonathan Majors is giving such a great performance that sometimes it feels like he's not even in the same movie as everybody else. This guy's menacing, he's intelligent, he's cold and calculating. There's also like this emotional intensity that's like simmering below the surface of Jonathan Majors' performance. It has such amazing technology that it feels kind of like magic the way that he uses it in this movie. In the MCU, we've seen a lot of shit. We've seen a lot of magic. We've seen a lot of great advanced technology. But the way that he uses this technology in this movie, it just kind of reminds me of that conversation that Thor and Jane had in the first Thor movie. Thor is kind of explaining to her the difference, or I guess the similarity between magic and technology. Is like, for you, it's probably magic. For us, it's just really advanced technology. You know, where I come from, they're one and the same. They're not really that different. I don't know. I just thought it added something to Kang as a character. And Kang, like, I don't care what else is happening in the movie. Kang is absolutely worth seeing the movie for. I would also say that I appreciated the art design of this movie. Like, I like the layout of the quantum realm. I like how things look. I like the design. It's a very interesting world that they set up down there. The creatures, the landscapes, the environments. I like the makeup, the outfits, the costumes. Like, I'd say everybody else is giving an okay performance. Michelle Pfeiffer is probably the one that's giving the best performance, given that her character finally has the most to do. Is there anything else positive that I liked about this movie? Oh, Kang beat Scott's ass. I feel like that has to be mentioned. I know that I already mentioned it, but it's Black History Month, and I just want to own that dub for all of us as a people. Like, he beat his ass. Like, he beat his ass. I wouldn't say that the movie's bad. I wouldn't say that the movie's terrible. I would just say that the movie's kind of disappointing. A lot of my disappointment and frustration starts with visually how the movie looks. Some of the cinematography and the shot selection in the movie looks good as far as like how they're depicting this environment and some of the interesting ways that they're making the quantum realm look. But then other parts of the movie visually just look so ugly. Like, a lot of parts of the movie just feel like CGI mud has been slathered over everything, and it's kind of a mess, and sometimes you don't know exactly what you're looking at. Really shit CGI. I'm talking about like bottom of the barrel like early 2000s, maybe even late 90s type CGI. There's no excuse for a movie to have like a big budget like this, for Disney to have these big budgets and not to make the movie visually look as good as it possibly can look. Some of it is so bad that I had to actually bust out laughing when I saw it in the theater. Maybe it's because I'm living in a post-Dune, post-Avatar, post-Blade Runner 2049, post any great looking blockbuster from the last 10 to 15 years. Maybe I'm living in that era where I'm just kind of like, the blockbusters, there should be more effort put into how these movies look. There should be more that we expect from a movie visually, especially one that is behind the Disney banner. I'm not gonna spend a lot of time talking about MODOK. If you're a MODOK fan, I apologize. I think my biggest issue with this movie is that the movie is more focused on being like a Star Wars-y Ant-Man movie than it is about actually developing and fleshing out these characters. I feel like there was an opportunity to really make this movie more emotional than it actually was, and it feels like the movie didn't really get to focus on the emotion as much as it wanted to because it was too busy promoting that quippy, snarky MCU humor and dialogue that almost everybody has. The thing that I dislike the most about recent MCU movies is that everybody in the MCU movies sounds the same. They all talk the same. They all have the same type of humor. This is why Jonathan Majors' Kang is such a breath of fresh air, because he is not with any of that shit. He is pretty much all about business. But the movie's kind of bogged down in its pacing and its character development because it's just too focused on being a silly MCU movie and not actually taking the time to build these characters up. The nano helmet mask just disappears every like 2 or 3 minutes. It's kind of like, why even have the mask? Why even have the helmet if you're gonna take it off every few minutes just to say a dumb joke or to, like, I'm not saying never show the actors' faces. I'm just saying it just kind of seems pointless the way that they've set up these nanotech helmets and stuff. I get it, technology, but it just feels like it's taken something magical away from the superhero by not having their mask or their helmet be something tangible, something real. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania was just kind of all right. I'm gonna leave this one in the Fortress of Solitude. Have you seen it? What did you think about it? Give me your thoughts on the film in the comment section down below. Please like and subscribe to the Superfan Show, and if you like what you see, tell me how you feel, and stay tuned to hear more from the Man of Steel. Peace.